Okay, I'm going to be going over layer masks real quick. Here's my Photoshop. I'm going to create a new document, 8x10, 300 ppi, create. And I'm going to go into my downloads folder. I'm going to find the file that I'm going to be using. And I'll just drag the file on my workspace and hit enter. Okay, so here's what I want to do, chop out the donuts. I'll start with method number 1, which will be the most fundamental method, which is the brush. So first we have to go down to the bottom right corner here. We have to insert a layer mask, and you'll see the blank sheet layer mask pop up there. Okay. Then you're going to switch to your brush by hitting B. You can choose your brush size up here, the brush settings. You're basically going to use a hard brush or a soft brush. And then with black arm down here, either click on the black and white and hit X to go to black, or you can hit D and hit X to go to black. So get true black, not partially black, true black, and start painting on your image in black. And you can see that wherever you paint, it masks. And again, the whole point of layer masks is that it's non-destructive. So if I make a mistake or I need to go back later and fix something, I'll simply switch my color to white. If I paint in white, it'll paint the image back. So painting in black will hide the image, painting in white will restore what's being hidden. Okay, so that's method number 1. And you can always zoom in. This is how you're going to touch up all your masks. It all comes down to zooming in, making several passes around the perimeter of the object, each time getting closer and closer and closer. And you really want to you want a little bit of feathering on your edges, but you don't want your edges to be super blurry generally, so you just keep going closer and closer until it's perfect, okay? So that is using the brush tool to add a layer mask, okay? Let's look at example number 2 now, which is the pen tool. So I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'll double click on the first one, I'll call it brush example. Okay, let's look at layer number 2 with another pen. The pen tool is very similar. Let me get rid of my existing layer mask. The pen tool is the pro method. Zoom into your object, hit P for pen. You'll see it over here in the pen. And you're going to start tracing a path around your object. And once you have your path traced and connected back on itself, you can right click on your path and hit make selection, or you can go to your paths channel. You'll find your path saved over there. You can right click on that and hit make selection. And now you can put a little feather on. I'll put a 1 pixel feathering radius. So it's going to blur the edge by 1 pixel. Okay, so now you see it's made a selection out of my donuts. And now I can simply go back to my layers channel and click add mask. And voila, in one shot, it chops out my image, okay? Now this is a rough mask, obviously, but the mask is the most precise tool. So if you these fruity pebbles and stuff, you really would use the pen tool for this or the brush tool to really capture the donut exactly right, okay? So that's method number 2, using the pen tool to add a masking layer. Let's talk about method number 3 now. That's going to be the quick selection tool, so I'll call this like quick selection. And this is one of the easier ones. Just go over here to the quick selection tool, or you can hit W. And what you're going to do is paint on, and you're painting a selection. So small strokes work best. And as you paint on your selection, you'll see that it adds to your selection. And you can really zoom in, and you can get really precise. And this is the future, is the automated AI. It's using AI to find the edge of your selection. So it's not perfect, Now, if there's something that's not supposed to be in your selection, let's say this plate, zoom into it, hold down the Option key, and you can paint on while holding the Option key to paint away a selection. We call it, say, to subtract from your selection. So using this method, by holding down the Option key and painting, I can paint away any selection that's extra. Okay. And very similar to method number 2 with the pen tool, once you have a selection the way you want it, simply go over here and click Add Layer Mask, and then voila, in one shot. Okay? And this looks really good. Okay? That's our third method. And finally, for our fourth method, and final method, we're going to use the Select Subject tool. The Select Subject tool. And this is the easiest one, but again, you'll have to come back and touch up with your brush after. To use the Select Subject tool, if you have a very simple object like this with a blurry background, simply arm the Quick Select tool by hitting W again. And then up here on the top ribbon, you'll see Select Subject and Select and Mask. We'll do a whole lesson on Select and Mask later, but you can simply hit Select Subject. And if you have a simple image like this, bang, look at that, it'll do a great job. Now if I click Add Mask again, it does that. Now you can see down here the bottom of the plate was left off. So let's undo that. And I'm going to go back in here, and with my subject selected, I'm just going to paint a little more with my Select Subject tool. Quick Select tool, excuse me, my Quick Select tool. And there we go. And I'll go through everything and make sure that everything's selected or there's nothing extra selected. And then I'll click Add Mask. Okay, so that's method number 4, using the Select Subject tool. That's the easiest and fastest, but no matter what you do, you're going to have to go back in with your brush. You're always going to find some pieces that, like this jagged edge in this plate, looks bad, right? So no matter what method you use, you're still going to go back to your brush, and you're still going to go back in and work on the perimeter of your object no matter what you do. So if you want to use Quick Select to make your initial selection, that's cool, but you'll still need to trace all the way around your object to make it perfect. Okay. This has been our lesson for today. I hope this is helpful. Ahoy ho.